All right, so today I'm going to talk about where we're at with the Wisconsin Passenger Rail Program. But before I get into that, I just want to take a moment to kind of reflect on how we got here. And really, I mean, a lot of that has to do at the DOT with Arun's leadership in the Passenger Rail Program and his ability to be optimistic, tenacious, and keep on going throughout all the different bumps and turbulence that this program has gone through. And I think one of the big takeaways, and he kind of touched on it in his own presentation, is that relationship with the local communities and the businesses, right? Not only messaging to them, but listening to them. And how does this service, how can this help them? What do they need to make this service most valuable for them as well? So I think that's a very important thing. And I just want to thank Arun. All of the work we're doing here is built off of the foundation he built at our department. So a lot of these slides are his too. I just took them. I became the chief in 2017, so I've been the chief of railroads and harbors here for 5 years. I didn't add that on there, although my background was in traffic safety. Prior to that, I came into the railroad section in 2013 as a grade crossing safety engineer. So that was my foray. Just to give a little bit, so I get very excited about crossing safety. If you guys want to talk about that, I could talk about that all day. The Twin Cities Milwaukee-Chicago project. This project, as you guys are all well aware, is connecting Chicago, Milwaukee, and the Twin Cities and all of the communities in between on a state-supported route, and it will be adding a second frequency on top of the Empire Builder, providing more options for the communities. I think it can't be said important enough that there's about 60% of Wisconsin's population is within bus or driving distance of one of these stops. I think, what is it, 30 minutes or 15 minutes? Yeah, it's very close. So it's a very strategically placed route. And it also, I think the economics of this route is going to be very important to our state. This, like I just said, the other big thing here, besides increasing our schedule choices, is it's going to improve the eastbound train reliability. A lot of that 8-hour delay or other delays that are happening often are happening out on the BNSF and the Dakotas and other things that are going on there with freight rail. We will eliminate that. We will have so much more reliable service on this coming from the Twin Cities to Chicago. And that is going to improve that transportation option for Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois travelers. The other thing this will do is it will add intermodal connections. So we're going to have bus routes to Eau Claire, to Madison. Those will connect to this program. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the current one we have up to Green Bay now, and that has been a very successful throughway bus. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, and that's another connection that will continue. Here are just some nice kind of facts about it. It's a 411-mile route. It will have morning and midday departures. It's about 7.5-hour travel time, so it is car competitive, especially if you have a small child and have to stop many times on the way there. 79-mile-per-hour speed maximum in the corridor. There'll be 13 stations. It's estimated 124,000 riders in the first full year of rider or service, which is expected to be 2024. And then the 2 daily round trips, and we are planning on service beginning in 2023. Like Arun said, it's based on getting the operational funding from all 3 states is what we're working on. And just so everyone knows, Wisconsin is ready. We're not waiting for us. But it's a complicated process when you've got 3 states that are going to be working together to support a service. Here's a map of the route, and you can see the bus routes. Oh, and I did forget to mention the bus connection to Rochester, Minnesota as well, which is shown on this map. But this also kind of shows you that area I was talking about, within 30 miles of the station or 15 miles of that shuttle. That green in purple area is 60% of the Wisconsin population lives within that. So it's pretty dramatic, I think. This is just kind of talking about some of the outreach that had been done previously. There, with the environmental documentation, we have gotten a lot of very positive feedback for this service. So that's just 84% of our respondents were supporting the project, which is an extremely high positive feedback rate. All right, so this is just a little bit on some of the grants that we've received. We do have money to help start the service, so the feds, we did get a grant from FRA to help supplement the startup. We will be going for an additional supplemental grant for that, because now with the new IIJA, you can have up to 6 years of federal support. So we're going to apply for the additional 3 years to be added to this first grant. And then we have the TCMC Infrastructure Project grant, where we got almost $32 million in federal money and $5 million from Amtrak as well. Right now, the total estimated is 53. To be honest, that number is going to go up with inflation and all that, but we're working on that with the other states, and so our consultant's actually working on a new number right now. We don't have that yet. Here's a brief overview. In Wisconsin, all the work is going to be in La Crosse, basically at the station there in that area. We are working on some of the grade crossings. If you guys have been in La Crosse, those 2 grade crossings between the yard and the station. We actually will probably pull those out and do those as a separate project, because they need a lot of work, and it's more than what this project can handle, but we're going to do it under a different program. We're going to add a track. We're going to have 3 tracks going through 2 intersections that are basically right in the middle of a 4-way intersection that don't have any stop signs. We would have to do 8 gates if we didn't do anything. It would be almost a $5 million project, because you're between the yard and the platforms. So we have to take a step back and look at doing something different there. And then the other projects are in Minnesota. That's fine, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then here's the timeline. It feels like we just got started, but if you look at it, we're here, right? There's been so much prep work, as you guys are well aware. Lots of work to get to where we are now, where we are in final design for this. So although in some ways, like I said, it feels like we're just getting started, we're really close to the end. We're in the final stretch. So it's a very exciting time. So that's the TCMC. I'm going to talk a little bit about the current Hiawatha service and the throughway bus. I remember when I first came into the section, I had been unaware that there were 7 round trips a day. And so I take every opportunity I can to remind everyone who may not know, there are 7 round trips a day on the Hiawatha. So there are lots of choices. All 7 trips are currently running again. They're all up after the slowdown with COVID. The train size is still a little bit smaller. It's still just 4 cars. We're not back up to the 6, but we do have 7 round trips daily. Here, I also just want to show kind of our ridership. We had, a record high in 2019. We were almost 900,000 riders, and then of course we had COVID. I should make a note that these are state fiscal years. So that number seems weird. Like, how did you have so many riders in 2020? Our state fiscal year starts July of the year before. So July 2019 is the beginning of state fiscal year 2020. So that 2020 was July 2019 to June of 2020. But of course, then 2020 fiscal year 2021, very low ridership. Sometimes we didn't even have the trains running, or just 1 train a day. So, however, you can see that the last fiscal year we have been recovering, and I think we're coming back pretty well, right? Pretty strong. And a lot of our trains are sold out, and we're waiting for more cars. So, just like everyone, as Arun said, the mechanical issues and equipment issues. And we were still seeing a really good on-time performance. It's well over 90%. I just put 90% because I think there was one that was at 92. But we have very good on-time performance on the Hiawatha. Here's a little bit about our Amtrak throughway bus up to the Green Bay. Stops in Appleton, Fond du Lac, Oshkosh as well. Oh, I said those out of order. Oh, and also De Pere. Sorry to my De Pere friends. Green Bay and De Pere. And we have seen significant ridership growth on this bus. So we are almost doubling the amount of people we've seen on this bus since we saw last year. And to be honest, this saw a brief dip during COVID, but it came back faster than the train did. So, I mean, we had just started it in 2019, to be fair, so it's not like it had fully wrapped up before COVID hit, but it is back and it is growing and well used. All right, so about our passenger rail equipment. So we are part of the Midwest Equipment Pool. We own equipment with Illinois, Michigan, and Missouri. And the equipment, the 33 locomotive, serves the blue lines that you see on this map. And we are in the process of working with IDOT's lead of securing the 88 venture cars. Bringing that has been slower than we'd like to bring those equipment on board. Not just the personnel issues, just this is new equipment. Everybody's kind of going through a learning curve. There's just been things we've been hitting, and although it's been a little bit painful for the Midwest, I'm hopeful that it'll be less painful when Amtrak gets their own equipment, because everybody's learned a lot, Siemens, Amtrak, and the states as well. As it said on the other slide, 6 of those 88 cars are going on the Hiawatha. The other 6 are going to be provided by Wisconsin procurement. We are procuring 6 Siemens Venture coaches as well as 3 CAT coaches, so CAT cars. So we'll have fully all new equipment on the Hiawatha the end of 2025 or early 2026, depending on when this equipment comes in. And the car shells on, I think it's the coach cats, are being made right now out in California. So it is in full swing, and we're very excited to get the new equipment on board. And that will be added into the Midwest pool. So we're buying it with our state and federal funds, and then we are working on an agreement with the other Midwest states to bring it into that pool, so it's all managed together. We're trying to make the equipment as, the coaches are going to be exactly what was purchased under IDOT. That will help just with maintenance. We're trying to keep everything as efficient as possible. Okay, and then Hiawatha Service Expansion Program and associated projects. So as you guys know, we still are working towards getting 10 round trips. We do have, we currently have that 7 round trips. We're working towards 10. We do have an agreement and a plan to get an 8th round trip here. That will happen once the Milwaukee Airport Rail Station is completed. We'll be able to bring on the 8th round trip. I believe that is that and CTC or just, yeah, and the signals. So that should be done about the same time as the Mars Airport Rail project. So here at Mars, actually we started construction. So the railroad work is being completed as we speak. All the track work and the crossing work is under process, and the let for the building will be in December. So we finally just got over our last hurdle on that. There was a utility issue, but we actually just yesterday I got the note that has been worked out. So we'll be clear for the December let, and we'll be building that, starting that construction in the spring of 2023. This is the other project that will be needed to be completed for the 8th round trip. This is upgrading the signaling through the Milwaukee Intermodal Station. There's some really old signaling there. This will give it centralized train control. We have a contract with CP. They're working on the design for that right now. The big one is the Mosquito Yard. So Mosquito Yard, the environmental documentation is finally wrapping up. I don't know if it's officially done, but it might be. I think it's just going for signatures. It is near the end. That has been a very complicated process. We are finally through that. One of the downsides of it is through this preliminary design and environmental engineering, we will need to expand the scope. So we will be going back. Actually, we're working on a grant right now for the current Christie round to ask for additional dollars to fund what we're going to convert an old bridge to a culvert. We've got to keep the bridge because of 4F, which is natural, park and historic issues. And then we also need some additional track on the north-south side before you get into the yard. So we're going to be asking for an additional grant to cover those, or help cover those costs and move forward with that project. And assuming we get that grant, we'll start that design next year. This is just a little bit about all the rail plans going on. We are near complete. We do have a draft final of the rail plan. It is going through final internal reviews, and the Amtrak Connect Us plan is out there, as Arun talked about. The FRA Midwest plan was completed. I kept it on there because I think MidPerk is looking to do an update or next steps from that. And so I just put these on here with links to all the plans if people are interested. And then this is just kind of moving forward. We've done, all these grants were before the IIJ or the bill. And so imagine what we can do. We just have to keep working hard, it's a lot of work. You know, the big challenge is we didn't duplicate in the number of people that are doing the work. So we still have the same number of people, but we're trying to get as much done as efficiently as possible using consultants, using people that we have. We're also in the process of hiring a runs replacement. So hopefully we find someone half as good as he was. And we're just keeping our eyes open for additional opportunities. Thanks. Any questions?
Why are we doing good for someone that's half as good? No.